Hello everyone, hope everyone's having a great night. I wanted to make a video real quick about cirrhosis. Um, so maybe you just found out that you have liver disease of one form or another, or maybe you're worried about it. Um, you know, we tend to, as people, we tend to eat things or drink things that aren't very good for us at times, and sometimes they can do damage, like alcohol is a big one, and many other things as far as that goes. So I kind of wanted to talk real quick. um, this is for the people who maybe had just found out or want a little more information about what it is, what this means. The big question is, how long do you have? Because everyone's worried about that. It's scary. You're told that one of your main organs, who, if you're anything like me, was probably thinking that the only thing the liver really did is clean your blood, or made you sober again if you're drinking or what have you. It filtered out toxins. But first, I want to talk about what the liver does. It does a lot more than that. Yes, it does clean the toxins out of our body, alcohol, ammonia, and many other things. It That's a very important job of the liver. The liver does a lot of other things too. For one, it has a hand in producing the proteins that we need to, one, keep the body going, two, fight off infection or sickness or what have you. A lot of those things are very important to be able to keep us healthy. And when our liver's not working right, it's not processing proteins well enough. The average person is supposed to have like 100 grams of protein, but if you have liver cirrhosis, you really need around 250 to 300. And this is something you should always talk to your doctor about. Don't just take some guy off the internet's word for it and go, oh, that's what I should do. No, you want to talk to your doctor. There's doctors can get you in connection with dietitians to help you out with that kind of thing, to help you with what's healthy for the liver and what's not. Now, there's different stages to liver disease. There's fatty liver, which is, the starts of it. In fact, they say that probably about 50% of Americans have some form of fatty liver disease. And, that happens because, well, we're in a fast-paced society. We, go out to eat a lot, stop on the way home from work, stop on the way home from somewhere, grab a cheeseburger, some chicken nuggets, whatever it may be. But those foods tend to not be so good for us. So they have a lot of fats and things like that, can cause our liver to not be the healthiest. Also, exercise is very important. You want to keep active as much as you can, even after you've been told that your liver is bad or damaged or isn't any good, or maybe you have full-blown cirrhosis, which is what I have. And I'll get to how long I've had it and a little bit about my story here in a minute. But it's just one of those things that we do need to stay healthier and try to home cook some of our meals if we can. Prep cook things up that's easy to microwave and things like that. Get yourself some containers to bring food with you. That's a healthier way to do it. So back to the liver. So not only does it filter and it helps produce proteins, it also pushes the blood to your organs and supplies it to those different main areas. So what happens is your blood, as it flows, it passes through the liver, gets cleansed, and continues on. You'll tend to you'll see that maybe you've experienced this or heard of it. When your liver starts to go bad, you can start building up fluid on the body, in the stomach, the abdomen area, maybe in the lung, on the legs. That's a big one, down towards the lower part of the legs. And you may notice it, more on the one side than the other. For me, it was, as far as the leg goes, the leg swelled up most on the left, being the fact that my heart was on the left side. Well, I know it's a little more towards the middle, but you know what I'm saying here. um, so those are many things that we should keep in the back of our mind and think of and keep track of. Also, so maybe you went to the doctor and you had fluid built up and they had to extract it. What they'll do is they'll put a long needle in there and they'll use an ultrasound to be able to see where it's going, and then they feed a plastic tube in, kind of like an IV, and then that will suck out the excess fluids. I've had it on the lung a bunch of times. I actually wound up with a chest tube in for a good almost 2 months because my right lung kept filling up over and over again and the fluid kept on getting infected. So I spent quite a bit of time. About 2 years ago, I spent about close to 6 months in the hospital, almost straight. I'd get to go home for 2 days, wind up right back. The fluid would just fill back up no matter what I did. As time went on and as I started eating healthier and staying focused and exercising and, taking my medicines and things like that, and a big one is not drinking, I haven't had a problem with fluid in quite a while. Probably over a year. I haven't had any fluid buildup. I do occasionally get the hepatic encephalopathy, which I'll get to that in a moment too. That's essentially when your liver is not filtering the ammonia and that ammonia gets to your brain. It can cause a lot of funky things to happen, and I'll get into that in a moment. So the big question is, how long do we have? That's the thing. When I went in, at one point they gave me 90 days. They didn't think I'd make it longer than 90 days. It's been 2 years and 5 months since then. And I'm still going. For the most part, I don't really have fluids build up. I do deal with the ammonia occasionally in the brain affecting me as far as the handshakes and stuff like that. But for the most part, it is possible to try to get more time out. And that's finding something to stay focused on. Maybe it's a small, goal, or maybe you have a hobby you like doing. Maybe you can't do the things you used to be able to do. Now you got to make changes. That's a thing too, and I've had to do lots of those things. One is the income, being the fact that I've got multiple hernias, on top of the liver disease, plus I have issues with swallowing food. Food gets stuck. It has nothing to do with the liver, though. That is not a common issue. People who have liver disease, I have a separate disorder called achalasia as well, which causes food to get stuck, which makes it difficult to get all the proteins I need if they keep getting stuck. But, I do the best I can with what I got, and I eat the things that affect me less. And that's the whole thing, adapting, changing, moving. Just keep moving. Remember, a body in motion tends to stay in motion. Look at a river. You got a choice. You can be a river, keep flowing through, keep moving, see new life, or you can be pond water and just stay and get stagnant and things don't thrive in it. And I truly believe that. I believe that if we stay focused, try to stay positive, find something to do, keep yourself active as much as you can. I think that's a huge one right there. But, you could have years before needing a transplant. You could get more time. And like I said, I've now had cirrhosis for, in May, it'll be 3 years. I was diagnosed. So it'll be 3 years in May. When I went in, I had a bunch of fluid on the stomach. I couldn't breathe. That's what actually made me go in, is I couldn't walk 10 feet without being completely out of breath. And that was because my lung was completely filled with fluid. I was getting no air on the right side at all. So when I went in, they pretty much just said, "You're in liver failure," gave me some medicine, sucked the fluid out, and sent me on my way. You got an appointment in a month, and that was about it. No one said anything to me. No one really got into it. I don't know if they just figured that my chances of surviving were so little, what's the point? or what at that point in time, but no one really said anything. So, you know, so how long do you have? That it depends on, it's different for everybody. There's different stages, like I said, fatty liver. Um, there is, we start getting a little bit of scar tissue on the liver, and then you get a little bit more. Then eventually you get full on cirrhosis. There's compensated and decompensated. Decompensated means that the liver isn't functioning properly. Compensated means that it is still functioning, just not right. I have decompensated liver cirrhosis, which would be technically stage 4. The only stage after that would be liver cancer, what have you, which thankfully I don't have. But if you have liver cirrhosis, there is a risk. So you're going to go in and you're going to be checked probably every 6 months. They just do a simple ultrasound or a CT scan to be able to find out what's going on with that. And they'll be able to check that every 6 months or so. Another thing you'll probably do every 6 months to a year is an EGD. That's the scope where they go down, they look at your esophagus. You can form what's called varices. Varices are veins that shouldn't be there. Think of varicose veins in a way. What had happened in my body, because my portal vein, which is the main vein that goes through the liver, is so squeezed, it's actually formed new veins. It actually reopens up the umbilical vein and pushes the blood flow through the way it should go. Well, not the way it should go, but it continues pushing it. It's amazing how the body finds a way, and it just keeps going like that. So, but you can have varices like that, which aren't as dangerous, or you could also have them in the esophagus, which I've had about 8 of them in the past. Basically what they do is they check it. If they find one, they wrap one of these really tight rubber bands around it, and then it comes scar tissue and the band falls off, and then it heals up. So it's not really a bad procedure. It's just you wind up with a little bit of a sore throat for a day or two if they find a varices. If they don't find any varices, you probably won't notice anything. No pain, no discomfort, nothing like that, because you're asleep when they do that. So there's varices. Hepatic encephalopathy. That's another one. That's when the ammonia doesn't get filtered through the liver, and then it affects the brain. There are a couple of medicines they give you for this. One's called lactulose. Lactulose is a very thick syrup that's a laxative, and it makes you go probably about 3 or 4 times a day. And what happens is, as it goes down, it collects the ammonia particles and passes them out for you. And the other one is rifaximin or Xifaxan. Xifaxan is a pretty expensive prescription, but there are different ways out there that can help. A lot of insurances, sometimes you might have to get special permission to cover it. That's something easy. I had to do that. The doctor just contacted them for me, and it was handled. So use your doctors as much as you can. You know, I use the online portal and I just send messages. It's so much easier. I'm pretty sure that most doctors nowadays and medical groups have that. So I use that, and I find that to be pretty easy. But hepatic encephalopathy, HE, can cause you to be confused. You could forget where you are, not know where you are, slurring your speech. It can cause you to stumble, maybe fall. It causes handshakes, and I'm gonna do this, but it's like this. I can't do it on my own very well, but if it was doing it, you would see this quick kind of slap. They call it the hand flaps. A lot of times you'll go and see your liver doctor and they'll be like, put your arms out like this. And that's what they're looking for. Because one of the first things that happens when the ammonia is affecting your brain, it causes that wave, that flap, which can also come up in the fingers. Like when typing on your phone, your finger starts twitching and hitting the wrong thing all the time. So, but a lot of times that is taken care of with medicine. Those are pretty much the only medicines they really make for liver cirrhosis. There's no magic medicine. And I know that a lot of people have said things about supplements like milk thistle and all the other ones. The only problem with that is once your liver becomes cirrhotic, it really can't handle it. There's been studies out there by people who took milk thistle after getting cirrhotic, and it's caused it to get worse. Because keep in mind, the liver is not working right. So when you give it something that's supposed to make it work even harder, now you're in trouble because your liver can't work harder. So now you've got this item that you're not filtering out properly out of your body, and that can cause more issues. So I'd be very careful what supplements you're taking. There's no miracle cure. There's no, once you hit cirrhosis, there's no going back. There is time, you could have time. The liver is amazing, can function at a very low percentage. My last CT scan said my liver was swollen and you know, very coarse, and it's all, not swollen, I'm sorry, it has shrunk, sorry. And the little nodules and things like that they happen to see on it. Which is pretty normal for cirrhosis. And I've had the biopsy where they said that the liver core was completely burnt out. I guess that was a medical term, burnt out. But anyway, I hope this video helps a little bit, gives you a little bit of knowledge. I tried to keep it kind of simple. This video is really for the people that maybe have just gotten diagnosed and are curious about it. And I want to thank everybody for your kindness in the past with my GoFundMe. I'm trying to move so that I can get transplant once I get to that point, but because I need a support system, which I don't have where I'm at. I was able to get a car thanks to the blessings, so I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to everyone. If you want to help me out there, in the About section, there'll be a link for the GoFundMe, but you don't have to. I just want to help people with this video. That's the main thing. So again, thank you so much. I hope everyone has a wonderful and great day.